Welcome.
Hello, what's up everyone? What's going on? Welcome to the stream. We're going through the last chapter in book 5, which is kind of sad. Cliffhanger! Oh no! I don't want a cliffhanger. Alright, yeah. One of the questions that I have for you guys before we start. What would you guys say is your favorite out of the 6 books? Rank the 6 books. Going from 1 to book 6. What is your favorite? Book 1, book 6. Every single chapter starting this one after is the best one. That's pretty much what I say every single time. I know it's impossible to rank. 7 is the best. The appendices is 7? Really? I kind of feel like that might be it. I know Dennis hates the ranking. I kind of like it though. 6, 4, 5, 1, 3, 2. Interesting ranking. You guys are, a lot of you are saying 6 is the best. 4 is really great too. 5, 6, 4, 2, 3, 4, and 1. I'm curious. Oh, so I'm thinking about this. I was talking to the members yesterday on a stream, and I'm considering doing this. Which, run me through this idea if you guys think this would be fun or not, or what you really think I should do. Because I don't know where I should go after this. Well, I kind of do. My plan is to read The Hobbit. Then after I read The Hobbit, then to read The Silmarillion. And then any chapter that is in another book, like The Children of Húrin, I'll read that book in place of that chapter and then come back on The Silmarillion and read that chapter. So The Silmarillion is going to take me a while. But I was potentially thinking about this. When I finish The Lord of the Rings, when I'm done with this book, all I do for a month is reread it. Just do a live stream where I reread it. Maybe do like 1 to 2 chapters every day. And I just do a second time read through of this. And I don't do like that much actual content on the channel. Not a ton of videos. But just reading it fast and kind of like getting more of the speed read, the entire story in one. Rereading it fast and doing a live stream. And then going and doing the Hobbit. And I feel like that's kind of the truth. Maybe I would just get more out of a second reading. And that's kind of what I think too. Like right now I'm reading it super slow. So it's fun because I get to soak in everything. But I would like to kind of read it fast in like a few sittings. I feel like that'd be really fun. Yeah, although it wouldn't be fast. It would kind of be my pace of reading. Oh, Wes is coming in here. I gave him a little peanut butter thing, and he's just chilling. He's very happy right now with his little peanut butter. Yeah, you're a good boy, bud. He's going to be licking this, so you guys might hear it. Only if I sing. If I do a second time read through, I will sing every single song that comes up. I'll plan it, so like I'll like make music to it. I don't know if I'll make music to it, but I'll try to sing it. I'll try to come up with some tunes. Sing the whole entire text. That would be wild. I will definitely do a reread of I'll definitely do a reread of Lizzie's texting me. I'll definitely do a reread of the book live on a live stream. And I'll probably do it a little faster than I'm doing it right now. I know we were robbed of 3 books of live stream because I started it on book 4 really. So Children of Húrin is the only full-length book among the chapters of the Silmarillion. The others are mostly about the evolution and changes Tolkien made to his story. What about, like, is the Fall of Gondolin a chapter? Is Beren and Luthien a chapter in the Silmarillion? Or are they just small little stories that he wrote? He wrote extra. And the Fall of Numenor, yeah, the book. So there are chapters in that. Good. I'm excited. Um, Silmarillion wasn't edited by Tolkien himself. Yeah, that's what I heard. But still, it's extra content, so I'm excited about that. Also, everyone, you know what I'm about to say? Like the stream. So more Lord of the Rings people can watch. So I'll get plenty of Beren and Luthien. But Tolkien what was I gonna say? All thought just kind of goes out of my head every once in a while. One is in poetic form and one's not in poetic form, right? Fall of Numenor is just collecting previously published bits in one spot. Interesting. Hey, Revenant, thanks for the gifted membership. Kevin, congrats on the gifted membership. You guys hear Wes licking his peanut butter thing right here? Good boy, buddy. You're so cute. You got a tongue full of peanut butter. The Lays of Beleriand? Interesting. No, that's not what I meant. Okay, Aragorn versus Faramir. Let's talk about this for a second. Because I was talking about this on the member stream yesterday, so you guys will get a little extra tidbits of some of the member stuff. So, I think Aragorn is a perfect character. Although he grows into his perfection. Everyone has flaws, and I'm going to talk about both of their characters' flaws. I think one thing that I think is interesting, and I was telling the members this yesterday, so again, a little bit more. Faramir's flaw is that he still is slightly stubborn. That's not necessarily that bad of a flaw, to be honest. That's the only real flaw that I can find. He's kind of hard-headed like his father. Yeah, I probably won't do the Unfinished Tales and some of the additional stuff until after the Silmarillion. But in certain chapters of the Silmarillion, I'll definitely pick up like Children of Hurin and stuff like that, because I'm really excited to read Children of Hurin. I keep hearing stuff about it. Okay, but Aragorn. One thing that was intriguing to me, and some of the things that I was talking about Aragorn, like in the Council of Elrond and the chapter where they're on the river, I wasn't the biggest fan of Aragorn. So I wasn't like a massive, like, I love Aragorn with everything in me. He's like the greatest character ever. And it was interesting because a lot of people in comments on those videos were like, how do you not like Aragorn? Aragorn is literally the perfect character. And this happens on a bunch of the videos, but sometimes I think people forget that I'm still on my first read and that I haven't gotten to really the great aspects of Aragorn. And in the beginning, I think Aragorn, yeah, he's mysterious. He's a bit of an anomaly. The introduction that you have to Aragorn, he doesn't really communicate all that much of what he does. So that moment I remember he has with Boromir in the Council of Elrond when they're debating, and I took Boromir aside because I didn't know, and I still really don't know I only know one small tidbit of what Aragorn is doing up north, but I'm sure that's going to be more in the appendices. But he really, yeah, he's like a mythical character. And so the longer that I'm with him, I feel like the last few chapters I have gotten a deep dive on not a deep dive, but like more time spent with Aragorn, and have seen truly how great this character is. And so I have come to think that Aragorn is the perfect character. Probably not my favorite of the Fellowship, but I think he's a perfect character. And it's interesting too, because he's a perfect character, but he's like he's still flawed, and he still needs the rest of the Fellowship. Like they all complete each other and they all help each other. But Faramir is interesting because Faramir just comes across from the get-go as a more perfect character than Aragorn to me. Like Faramir is like, he still is a little bit mysterious, but he lets his cards show a little bit more than Aragorn does. Both of them working together in Gondor, like if there's any time to have like they're like the president and vice president of Gondor. This is the best time of prosperity. Like, how great would this kingdom be? If there's any time that I want to live in Gondor, it would be right after this, when Aragorn and Faramir are kind of running things. Like, how good is that? Gosh, that'd be great. And exactly, yeah. Characters, they don't all need character arcs in the stories. Like Aragorn's arc was before this, and he's like coming into his own for kingdomness. If Faramir becomes king, I'll be shocked. Interesting. Aragorn's your second favorite after Frodo. I still think Frodo is probably my favorite character. I really, really love Frodo. I think Frodo is such a great underrated character. Weirdly underrated. Like, he shouldn't be underrated, but I just have been so impressed with him in the last book. Maybe that'll change a little bit in book 6, but I really love Frodo. Yeah, he definitely did have a little bit of doubt. Like, the book, his doubt is more in the book, his doubt is more decisions that he has to make rather than doubting his kingship. Book 6 is rough for Frodo. Oh no. Mate, that might make me like him more. Bill the Pony versus the Quick Duck. It's a great discussion. Bill the Pony is still one of my favorite characters of all time. All the best characters has names starting with F. Faramir, Frodo, Finley, because Finley is my favorite character. The Quick Duck really is the best. I'm still looking for the Quick Duck. I feel like he's going to pop up again sometime. Melipone is better than Faramir. Feanor. Books 1 to 5 are not rough for Frodo. I totally disagree with that idea. Books 1 to 5, Frodo is such a phenomenal character. I love Frodo. Book 1, what are you talking about? It's rough for Frodo. The end of book 1, when he stands up to the Witch King, yeah, maybe he's like, experiencing rough times, but he gets through it like crazy. I love how all of you guys are just naming characters with F's. Oh, that's great. Who's my favorite character outside the Fellowship is a great question. That changes from time to time. I talk about my favorite side characters all the time. Well, it is rough for sure, but I think that he gets through it. Like, for someone to endure that and still come out really well, like at the end of book 1, I think it's one of Frodo's best moments. He's gone through hell and then literally stands up to the Witch King. Or stands up, is it the Witch King there in that moment? Stands up to the non-school at the very least. I think the Witch King's in there. I think it's the 9, right? Is it 9 or 5 that right after him? Yeah, he had a rough time in books 1 to 5. I will agree with that. But he's gotten through it. I'm curious if it's going to be different. Gibby, what's up? Drive an hour. Ooh, good luck on your drive. Thanks for passing in. Denethor is your third favorite? That feels like a hot take. Wow. That's crazy. I would probably say my favorite is Faramir. Yeah. Outside of the Fellowship, I'd probably say Faramir. But it's tough too because there's like main characters outside the Fellowship, and then there's like side characters outside the Fellowship. I think Faramir would probably be my favorite main character outside the Fellowship. My favorite side character outside the Fellowship might still be Hama. But I will say Imrahil is taking the cake right now with all the lore that's still about him. He just seems like a cool guy. Like, I don't know if Imrahil is cool. Although Gonburi Gon is also phenomenal. Baragond is great too. There's a lot of great side characters. Tomorrow's video is going to be about the greatest side character, Angbor the Fearless. Angbor the Fearless. What a guy. Yeah, Beargal, of course. There's a side characters today? Yorith? Florith? You guys, Fmog, Falum, Fama. Freebeard is pretty great. Fatty Bulger is another good F1. I know. The movies having Emerhill and Baragon would have been great. If they ever do a show, they really need to include all those. Man, that'd be such phenomenal characters to have in there. Old Man Willow, do not like Old Man Willow. Quick Beam was cool, but it's interesting to me how different that section is from the movies or from the books. Freebeard sounds like Free Bird, but Freebeard. Someone needs to name a song Freebeard or a band Freebeard. Farmer Maggot was another great side character. He's actually great in the book. Farmer Maggot was like a very low, like very underrated, great character. Círdan has plot armor. I don't know who Círdan is yet. I know. Who is the elf? Why am I blanking on him? Who is the elf they met right by the Shire? Gildor. Gildor was a great character too. He gave like practicality to elves. He made them like fun for me. And before, my perception of that was elves were just boring. Like their heads were in the clouds and they were annoying. But Gildor was a great character. No, Lord of the Rings should be 6 seasons. Every chapter should just be an episode. All these chapters are perfect episodes in and of themselves. Like perfect. They'd be such good episodes by themselves. Like this is one thing that this is not necessarily a hot take, but this is something that I really think authors do well at, is breaking up chapters. There's like Rowling is great at this, so good at this, and Tolkien is really great at this, because I think these people understand, yeah, for sure, an animated series. I would love if it would be animated, but I would love, like, Tolkien I think he understood that these are bedtime stories, so the chapters have to be kind of digestible to some extent. Like, this isn't necessarily children's literature. I'm sure he didn't write that with the intention of this being read to your child. But how many of you in the stream have had this read to you as a kid, or are reading it currently to your kid, and you read it chapter by chapter because the chapters are just great? And The Hobbit, for sure in that. For sure. And like Lord of the Ring, the Harry Potter books are exactly like that. Like books, these are like kind of meant to be small little digestible chunks in these chapters, and I think a show would just do really well to kind of keep it at that. I love that you're rereading after discovering the channel. That makes you really happy. That's like some of my favorite comments are people who are like, oh, I was rereading, I saw this video and I'm slowing down my reading so I can stick pace with you. Or people who are like, oh, you've inspired me to reread this again. That makes me so happy, because it's fun, like, thinking that there's a couple people out there, whether it's tens or hundreds, that are just following along as I'm reading, and they're like reading it every single week, one chapter, and they're just enjoying it. Because I think there's something to it, and that's why I was talking about at the beginning of the stream, the idea of reading it faster, because there is something fun to reading a book like this fast. Like, it is taking a lot in me to slow my reading to this point where I'm just doing a chapter per week. But there's something also really fun to reading a chapter per week. Because I read, like last week, I read the last debate. I finished reading that on the stream. And then probably over the last week, I've probably read that 3 or 4 more times. Because it's just fun to just like get enmeshed in a chapter and read all the little details of it. So like I find stuff even like on a second deep dive read of this. And like when I'm writing essays, I'm skimming through the chapters all the time. So it's like, it's just so great. You were reading at lunch, but you never. Yeah, I know. That's the one thing. Sometimes people can't keep at the pace because I'm going way too slow. I've never read Terry Pratchett's Discworld, but that is definitely being added to the list. I have a bunch of other, so I'm starting to make other channels, and I'm not going to make it a separate channel for every single book that I read, because that'd be ridiculous. But I'm going to like break it down into like categories. I feel like Discworld could be a fun one to do I don't know what channel that would be involved in. Potentially like a Tolkien channel. But like I didn't read, unfortunately I didn't do live reads of the first chapters. The first 3 books I didn't do live reads of, which was a bummer because I'm going to go back to those and do it. Crowdfund a Lord of the Rings series. That'd be so fun. And that's the thing, Joe, I'm kind of with you. All the channels that I have are just first timers and then the name of something. So I have a first timers Game of Thrones, first timers Brandon Sanderson, and first timers Harry Potter. And then like other book series that that'll probably take me a few years. Other book series that I do, they'll be filtered into it. So if I do Narnia, there seems like there's enough comparison. Like maybe this channel will be like the Inklings channel or like the era of writing. So like if I read like Ursula, maybe I'll include that on this channel because there seems to be some. It's Jon too. Good question. Jon. I'm a Jonathan really. The rest of the first timers, we've had to put a pause on it because 2 of the first timers just had a baby, and so they are full parent mode right now. Their child is a month and a half old. Yeah, and Ursula seems like she would be a great read on this channel specifically. Like after I finish like some of the Lord of the Rings stuffs, or maybe like as I read the Silmarillion, I'll filter some of that into it. Because honestly, I am actually scared, but I'm also excited because I think the Silmarillion is going to be like a chapter a month. Because I think there's going to be so much to write about and talk about in those chapters that I'll probably really slow down my reading pace. And then I'll focus on I'll incorporate other books in that too. Like I'll probably be reading Game of Thrones at that time and making some other content on the Game of Thrones channel. And then I'll probably be doing the same with, Harry Potter with the HBO series coming out. And then I want to read Ursula and I want to read Madeline L'Engle and like all those other things. And all those like Madeline, Ursula, C.S. Lewis, they all kind of seem like they will be incorporated on this channel because they kind of have similarity with Tolkien a little bit. Some of the others a little less. Like, I don't know if I was doing Harry Potter content on this channel, but it just didn't feel right. It seems like it's a totally different thing, to be completely honest. Like, Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings are connected, obviously, but I don't know. And that's what I keep hearing about Ursula, too, that she's great. You could do this, just reread it every month. So like if I do 1 chapter a month, just read that chapter with me and then read the rest of the book that month, and then when I come back to the next chapter, read the first chapter, then read the next chapter with me, then read the rest of the book that month, and then just keep doing that. Bring a sandwich to a 5-star restaurant. I kind of agree. That's why I think some of these books that they just don't fit on this kind of channel, and I really want to do one too where it's like although these are classics, I want to do like a first timers classic channel because I haven't read some of the great classics in years or just haven't read them, period. So I would love to read Dostoevsky and like Austen and like really do deep dives on some of those books, but maybe do those books a little quicker, like 1 a month. I would love to start with Pride and Prejudice, to be honest. Tolkien Rants, you kind of got me into wanting to do that channel specifically. Because there's some really great Russian and French. Brothers Karamazov is one of those I want to get into. I really want to get into Dostoevsky and some of those others. So it'd be fun to just like have like essentially all I want to do is just get one big book club out of this and just like read these books and just talk about them and make that fun. You know what I mean? There's a paragraph that was 2.5 pages. That is one of my, not my pet peeves, but older writers tended to do long paragraphs. That is one thing that I think writing has gotten significantly better is paragraph breakdowns. Oh, the full cast audiobook for Harry Potter is so good, guys. You gotta get it. It is, I just finished it this morning, actually. It's phenomenal. I won't do a 50 Shades of first time reads. I will not do that book. I slightly disagree on Russian authors. I like Russian authors, but I haven't gotten enough into Russian authors to know if they're the best or not. I do love French novelists. French novelists are my favorite. Ooh, Alan Rickman. We could talk about Alan Rickman for a while right here, for whether he played a good or bad Snape. But that doesn't belong on this channel. When I do more Lord of the Rings or Harry Potter reads, I'll talk about it then. The Harry Potter audiobook is so fun. But yeah, I'm not going to do 50 Shades. I'm going to start in 5 minutes. Sorry. It's just fun to just chat with you guys sometimes. And then another thing too, I'm going to do a trivia night sometime this week, potentially in the next weekend. Maybe next weekend, because we'll be in between books, book 5 and 6. So I will probably do a trivia night soon for Lord of the Rings, and we'll figure it out. Like, I'll probably do it where everyone can like log in on their phone or something. There's got to be some website out there that you can just log in on your phone, and I can like throw out the questions in there or something. I'll figure it out. So that'll probably be next weekend. For 5 minutes, read 25 minutes. Deal. I like it. Reading Pride and Prejudice for the first time thanks to the Cultured Bumpkin. Is that a channel? I love that channel name. He did play Snow. He played the role good, but he played it a lot different from the book. Book Snape is just mean and nasty, period. Alan Rickman was some kind of kind in the movies. Was kinder than Book Snape. Like, Book Snape was just nasty. Yeah, I think he was actually instructed to a little bit. And I think that's actually a great character change. I think Alan Rickman played it so well. I honestly like Alan Rickman. He didn't play a perfect Snape because it's different from the adaptation, but he played a great one. Yeah, and that's why I really want to start a classics one, because I think there are some really great classics I would just love to dive into and talk about. And like the classics will be like shorter. Like I'll do like Pride and Prejudice. Maybe that'll be like one book a month. And that's really when the book club will start. I love the earlier like Jim Dale is my favorite. I used to listen to Jim Dale all the time. Hans Christian Andersen, another great one. I was much more of a Jim Dale. I didn't know Stephen Fry did it until a few years ago. I'm still a Jim Dale fan. Alan Rickman plays villains on so many of his roles, except when he's in, what was it, The Holiday? He's still kind of a holiday or a villain in that, right? Not necessarily a villain. I don't know. Yeah, ask in the chat. What in the book? The Doctor is the monster? Classic viral video. Jim Dale is better than Stephen Fry. Let's go. You just finished the Stephen Fry version? He's great. They're just different readers. Stephen Fry is more of like calm and even reader. Jim Dale, I think, is better with voices, except for some of his voices. Yeah, I definitely will do the Iliad and the Odyssey. Those ones will take me a little bit more time. I kind of wish he did narrate Lord of the Rings. That was so good. So the full audiobook that they just released is drastically different from a Jim Dale depiction of it. The audible Harry Potter one now is like an immersive experience. It feels like you're in the world. Like you go for a walk, because they've did all spatial audio with it. So like you're in the middle, and like Harry's talking in your right ear, but he's talking like front right ear. And then like Hermione's back here, and then there's like things way in the background. So everything's spatial. So I'm walking down the street, walking my dog, listening to this, and all of a sudden I hear like an owl hoot, and it's like the owl hoot is like way back here in the audio, and I will literally look around and for an owl, because I'm like, what the heck is going on? It's a wild editing experience. They did a good job with it. I'll definitely do Beowulf, but I'll probably do Beowulf on this channel just because Tolkien loved it, you know? For this Snape, I forgot who the actor is for Snape, but Hagrid is Robert Baratheon, and Dumbledore is Stuart Little's dad. What's his name? Hugh Laurie. Which they both are great at. The actors that they got in these are so good. All right, guys. I could talk and chat with you all day, but we got some reading to do. Yeah, honestly, some of the inaudible chatter is a little distracting in it. And you've never read or listened to it and you're not curious about it? That's a bummer. I think it's a fun book. It's not obviously to the depth of Lord of the Rings, but I think it's still really fun. Yeah, Gambon, not my favorite at all. Gambon was a dreadful Dumbledore, but that's for another channel. All right, let's jump in. I would definitely listen to Rob English's narration of Lord of the Rings. I probably will do that after I read this, and I'll probably just like have it on if I go for walks. but I haven't listened to it, just sat down and listened to it. I'm open for any audiobook. I'll probably listen to Andy Serkis's and Rob Inglis. Maybe I'll make a video comparing the two or something like that. I read the Picture of Dorian Gray when I was in college, but I don't remember that much of it. So it'd be fun to just reread all those and talk about them. All right. And I would love, honestly, to read Stuart Little. I haven't read that since I was read that when I was 10 or something. Be fun to do that. Phil Dragish, too. All right, let's read. It is time. Let's do this. This is chapter 10, the final chapter of book 5. The Black Gate opens. I'm curious, one thing I'm curious about is if Aragorn's going to behead the Mouth of Sauron. Is the Mouth of Sauron in this chapter? I hope the Mouth of Sauron is in this chapter. And I'm curious if it's going to be different or the same or what. We'll see. All right, this is chapter 10. The Black Gate opens. Let's pay. Also, everyone like the stream, because sometimes people don't get notified for this. So the more you like it, the more it'll pop up on subscribers' feeds, and we'll be good and happy and content. Thanks, everyone. Here we go. This is The Black Gate opens. 2 days later. Hold on, I gotta let me clear my throat. 1 second. I already feel something. Alrighty. This is The Black Gate opens, chapter 10. In The Lord of the Rings: The Return of the King, book 5. 2 days later, the army of the West was all assembled on the Pelennor. The hosts of orcs and Easterlings had turned back out of Anorion. But harried and scattered by the Rohirrim, they had broken and fled with little fighting toward Cair Andros. It's interesting that they probably still hold Cair Andros, so I need to take that back. And probably Osgiliath too, no? And with that, the threat destroyed and new strength arriving out of the south city. Out of the south, the city was as well manned as might be. Scouts reported that no enemies remained upon the roads east as far as the crossroads of the fallen king. All now was ready for the last throw. Interesting. So they retreated from Osgiliath and Cair Andros too? Wait, they were as far east as the crossroads of the fallen king. The fallen king being Theoden? Or is this an actual road called the Crossroads of the Fallen King? So this was the same crossroad that Frodo saw? I'm guessing that was the first thing that happened in my head. So interesting. Oh, that's the Fallen King. Oh, interesting. Okay, the statue. So they have just left Osgiliath and Cair Andros? That's interesting. I feel like they had a fortified city there. Maybe not less than Osgiliath, but more in Cair Andros. They took that fort. Legolas and Gimli were to ride again together in the company of Aragorn and Gandalf, who went in the van with the Dunedain and the sons of Elrond. Man, that is a packed van. But Merry, to his shame, was not to go with them. Oh, bummer. You are not fit for such a journey, said Aragorn. But do not be ashamed. If you do no more in this war, you have already earned great honor. Peregrine shall go and represent the Shire folk. And do not grudge him his chance of peril. For though he has done as well as his fortune allows him, he has yet to match your deed. Oh, that, what? No, come on. Pippin saved Faramir's life. I mean, yes, Merry just destroyed the Witch King with Eowyn's help. That's interesting, because all up to this point, I've been thinking Pippin is maybe a little bit more advanced in what he's done. But I guess the last few chapters have changed that. That's actually interesting that he's comparing that to some extent. But do not be ashamed. If you do no more in this war, you have already earned great honor. Peregrine shall go and represent the Shire folk, and do not grudge him his chance of peril, for though he has done as well as his fortune allowed him, He has yet to match your deed. The Witch King, yeah, the Witch King still only counts as one. That's what he's saying right there. That's great. Yeah, Pippin's growth probably has been the most out of everyone in the Fellowship. I think he's had the biggest growth. Because he's still like growable. He's still young. But in truth, all now are in like danger, though it might be our part to find a bitter end before the gate of Mordor. If we do so, then you will come also to a last stand, either here or wherever the black tide overtakes you. Farewell. I hope he sneaks into this army somehow. And so despondently, Merry now stood and watched the mustering of the army. Beregil was with him, and he also was downcast, for his father was to march leading a company of the men of the city. He could not rejoin the guard until his case was judged. Huh. In that same company, Pippin was also to go, as a soldier of Gondor. Merry could see him not far off, a small but upright figure among the tall men of Minas Tirith. So that's interesting. So Beregond leaves his post, but he's still able to fight. I guess this is like an independent army to some extent. Interesting. That's kind of sad a little bit. But he's not necessarily breaking orders because he's not welcome back yet. He was like suspended, so he did kill 2 people. That is a valid point. Yeah, so he's not part of the guard anymore, but I guess he's still allowed to fight. Maybe he's just doing this voluntarily. Probably. Pippin and Beregond fighting. Aw, cute. I hope Beregond protects him. I'm nervous that Beregond might die. That'd be sad. All right. Let's keep reading. At last the trumpets rang and the army began to move. Troop by troop and company by company, they wheeled and went off eastward. And long after they had passed away out of sight down the road to the causeway, Merry stood there. The last glint of the morning sun on spear and helm twinkled and was lost. And still he remained with bowed head and heavy heart, feeling friendless and alone. Everyone that he cared for had gone away into the gloom that hung over the distant eastern sky. And little hope at all was left in his heart that he would ever see any of them again. Oh. Oh. Merry wasn't... I'm curious if he's going to sneak off. There's no way he's going to sneak off. Merry wasn't at the Black Gate. ... Or was he? Did he sneak away? As if recalled by his mood of despair, the pain in his arm returned, and he felt weak and old, and the sunlight seemed thin. He was roused by the touch of Beregil's hand. Come, Master Perion, said the lad. You are still in pain, I see. I will help you back to the healers, but do not fear, they will come back. The men of Minas Tirith will never be overcome. And now they have the Lord Elfstone, and Beregond of the Guard too. That's cute. That's so cute. 2 little buddies just going off to be healed. I love it. He really respects his father. He loves his father. He's put his father in the same league as Aragorn. They have Elfstone and Beregond of the Guard too. That is a really cute line. That's such like a proud sonly line. Ere noon, the army came to Osgiliath. There, all the workers and craftsmen that could be spared were busy. Some were strengthening the ferries and boat bridges that the enemy had made, and in part destroyed when they fled. Some gathered stores and booty. And others, on the eastern side across the river, were throwing up hasty works of defense. I always love a good turn of a word and for what it means. We had van, and now we have this. Some gathered stores and booty. I know what that means, but I always chuckle at myself a little bit. My middle school humor comes out every once in a while with that. Kind of love that. Some of those orcs, they were getting their booty. The vanguard passed on through the ruins of old Gondor and over the wide river and on up the long straight road in the high days that had been made to run from the fair tower of the sun to the tall tower of the moon, which now was Minas Morgul in its accursed vale. 5 miles beyond Osgiliath they halted, ending their first day's march. Gravel Nerd, thanks for the 10. No, don't dislike the stream. Don't do it. Gravel Nerd, thanks for the 10 euros. Appreciate it. Appreciate you. But the horsemen pressed on, and ere evening they came to the crossroads and the great ring of trees, and all was silent. No sign of the enemy had they seen. No cry or call had been heard. No shaft had sped from rock or thicket by the way. Yet ever, as they went forward, they felt the watchfulness of the land increase. Tree and stone, blade and leaf were listening. The darkness had been dispelled, and far away westward sunset was on the vale of Anduin, and the white peaks of the mountains blushed in the blue air. But a shadow and a gloom brooded upon Efelduath. This is terrifying. Shattermelon, thanks for the $10. Appreciate you guys. You guys are great. Thank you. Thank you. This is another thing that Tolkien does really well, is like drawing out suspense. He's done this obviously before in other sections with like not showing villains or like scary things that are happening. Get yourself a chicken nugget. Deal. Done deal. But he does this really good with like, even in the first book, I felt so tense in the whole first book because you just always felt the presence of the Nazgul. And now here, I could visualize this so clearly. Like you're walking through this land where the enemy probably walked in front of you trying to get back home. And they could be laying in wait in ambush here. They need lots of scouts going out this entire time. It's terrifying. Then Aragorn set trumpeters at each of the 4 roads that ran into the ring of trees, and they blew a great fanfare. And the heralds cried aloud, "The lords of Gondor have returned, and all this land that is theirs they take back." The hideous orc head that was set on the carven figure was cast down and broken in pieces. Let's go. And the old king's head was raised and set in its place once more. Cool. I love this. Still crowned with white and golden flowers, and men labored to wash and pare away all the foul scrawls that the orcs had put on the stone. I love this. Soul, thanks for the Canadian $10. Man, you guys are the best. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Trig, we're gonna miss you. Enjoy spending time with your family. I love that they're doing a little bit of cleaning before they're going off to battle. Like, this is great. The cleaning of the steps where Wormtongue stood, where he spit. Great point. It seems like it is valuable. They don't want these lands poisoned. Like, they're taking care of the land. It's like one of their priorities as they go on. This is like leave no, they're abiding by leave no trace. Big hiking lingo. When you hike in the woods, you need to leave no trace. It's like big in the backpacking community. And that's this. They're trying to take back the trace that was left there by these orcs that vandalized things. And I love that they keep the crowned golden flowers, the white and golden flowers on his head. And men labor to wash and pare away all the foul scars that orcs had put on the stone. This is the best Strider part of the book. Excellent. Lord of the Rings Online, there's a quest where you can clean and repair the statue. I actually want to play that right now. That's so great. Now, in their debate, some had counseled that Minas Morgul should first be assailed. Huh. And if they might take it, it should be utterly destroyed. And maybe, said Emerhil, the road that leads thence to the pass above will prove an easier way of assault upon the Dark Lord than his northern gate. No way. That's crazy. I don't think that'd be an easier... Maybe it would be for this army. I mean, they have to pass through... Wait, hold on. Hold for 1 second. Is there actually like a pass up there that is not going through Shelob's lair? Like, is there any kind of pass up there? So the Morgul Pass is interesting. I missed that, actually. So the orcs use the Morgul Pass. I wonder... that's actually really interesting. I want to talk about that. I'll make a video on that. Never thought about that, really, until now. I wonder if they actually would be more successful if they attacked that. It's providential that they didn't, because now they're clearing the way for Aragorn knows at this point that that is probably why Aragorn doesn't want to attack this pass. Maybe strategically it would actually work better. But that would bring all the orcs to that side where Frodo actually is. Interesting. The land of the winged hussars? Thanks. Where's the winged hussars? Is that German? Is that Deutschland? And Legends, thanks for the $4.99 too. Poland. Okay, Poland. Thank you. Sorry. We'll never confuse winged hussars with Poland and Germany before, ever. I will never do it again. Yeah, Johannes, that's exactly what I think too. I think this is like a moment where Emerhil is probably coming up with a better suggestion, but that's not what their cause is. They need to move the eye away from that area, because that's kind of because they know that's where Frodo is. Not at the moment, but they know he's kind of close to this. Interesting. It would probably prove an easier way of assault upon the Dark Lord than his northern gate. I actually agree with Emerhil here. But against this, Gandalf had spoken urgently, because of the evil that dwelt in the valley, where the minds of... Ooh, that's a great point, too. Where the minds of living men would turn to madness and horror. And because also of the news that Faramir had brought. For if the ring-bearer had indeed attempted that way, this is literally what we were saying, then above all, they should not draw the eye of Mordor thither. So the next day, when the main host came up, they set a strong guard upon the crossroads to make some defense. If Mordor should send a force over the Morgul Pass, or should bring more men up from the south, for that guard they chose mostly archers who knew the way of Ithilien and would lie hid in the woods and slopes about the meeting of the ways. But Gandalf and Aragorn rode with the vanguard to the entrance of the Morgul Vale and looked on the evil city. Crazy. It was darkness and lifeless, for the orcs and lesser creatures of Mordor that had dwelt there had been destroyed in battle, and the Nazgul were abroad. Yet the air of the valley was heavy with fear and enmity. Then they broke the evil bridge and set red flames in the noisome fields and departed. Whoa. You're to represent the devil dogs. That is great. Thanks for the $10, guys. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you. A Hobbit supporting the devil dogs. America. This is crazy. And set red flames in the noisome fields. The noisome fields, I'm guessing, are just the fields right before this. Like like they were in like thorns and thistles, right? What were the plants that they were at? I wish Trig was here, actually. He just said he was gone. Because I remember he was mentioning something about, I think, a plant like this that was in Ireland or something. The evil flowers. Yeah, that's right. What were those flowers called again? Noisome just means bad smelling. What were those flowers called? Did they have names for them? I remember I like looked that up a little bit. So they burned all those. Interesting. In the smelly fields. The gorse. Thank you. Yes, the gorse. Interesting. So they're burning all this down. That's kind of smart. Because this seems like, because it's close to Ithilien, if they let that go unchecked, that seems like it would branch out into Ithilien and destroy Ithilien. If this isn't an analogy for what's really going on in the story, they need to nip this in the bud, literally and figuratively speaking. The gorse was in Ithilien. They murdered the flowers for being ugly. But it's interesting. If it almost seems to me like these flowers are perversions of something in nature. Like these are almost recreations of something that's natural. Like when I remember when I read that, I think I thought along those lines. Like these were flowers that had been like touched by sorcery to some extent. You know what I mean? Maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe they just are natural flowers and, you know, the Witch King just had an affinity. He just kind of had a little love for these flowers because they smelled bad. They do kind of feel like anti-flowers to me. Oh, honestly, they were tortured of the evil is kind of good. Evil cannot create, only corrupt. So maybe they just corrupted some of these flowers. They just don't feel that natural to me. And that's probably putting, you know, a little bit of a interpretive license on that. But that's kind of just what it feels for me. Yeah, everything there just feels evil. And maybe that's the thing that's causing this like evil air about it. So if they destroy that, then the sweet smelling Ithilien will start to press into that. And you'll get the goodness. I would love to see Minas Ithil in its glory. Oh, I still think that's one of the places I would want to go to most. Evil cannot create, only corrupt. Interesting. The arum flowers. Yeah, probably corrupted them. I'm kind of with you on that. All right, let's keep reading. The day after, being the third day since they set out from Minas Tirith, the army began its northward... Hold on, let me take a note of this real quick, actually. Perverted flowers. That's a weird note. I'm going to have like when I die, someone's going to read through my notes in this book and they're going to go, perverted flowers? The heck was he talking about? Burn the flowers. The day after, being the third day since they set out from Minas Tirith, the army began its northward march along the road. It was some 100 miles by that way from the crossroads to the Morannon, and what might befall them before they came so far none knew. They went openly but heedfully, with mounted scouts before them on the road, and others on foot on either side, especially on the eastward flank. For there lay dark thickets and a tumbled land of rocky gills and crags, behind which the long, grim slopes of the Ephel-Duath clambered up. The weather of the world remained fair, and the wind held in the west, but nothing could waft up the glooms and sad mists that clung about the mountains of shadow. And behind them, at whiles, great smoke would arise and hover up in the lands, in the upper winds, or the upper wines. Huh. Gigi, welcome, even though you're an hour late. It's all right. Ever and anon, one of Tolkien's favorite phrases. Ever and anon, Gandalf let blow the trumpets, and the heralds would cry, "The lords of Gondor are come. Let all leave this land or yield them up." But Imrahil said, "Say not the lords of Gondor, say the King Elessar, for that is true, even though he has not yet sat upon the throne. And it will give the enemy more thought if the heralds use that name." And thereafter, thrice a day, the heralds proclaimed the coming of King Elessar. But none answered the challenge. That is sweet. I love Imrahil. Nonetheless, they marched in a seeming place. Nonetheless, though they marched in seeming peace, the hearts of all the enemy, from the highest to the lowest, were downcast. And with every mile that went north, foreboding of evil grew heavier on them. It was near the end of the second day of their march from the crossroads that they first met any offer of battle. For a strong force of orcs and easterlings attempted to take their leading companies in an ambush. And that was in the very place where Faramir had waylaid the men of Harad, and the road went in deep cutting through an out thrust of the eastward hills. But the captains of the west were well warned by their scouts, skilled men from Henneth Anun, led by Mablung. And so the ambush was itself trapped. For horsemen went wide about westward, and came up on the flank of the enemy. And from behind, and they were destroyed or driven east into the hills. But the victory did little to entertain. Sorry, I can't read right now. But the victory did little to enhearten the captains. "It is but a feint," said Aragorn, "and its chief purpose, I deem, was rather to draw us on by a false guess of our enemy's weakness, than to do us much hurt yet." And from that evening onward, the Nazgul came and followed every move of the army. They still flew high and out of sight of all save Legolas, and yet their presence could be felt as a deepening shadow and a dimming of the sun. And though the ringwraiths did not yet stoop low upon their foes and were silent, uttering no cry, the dread of them could not be shaken off. Dang. Is it Mablung? Mablung. Okay. I'll say it Mablung. I like that he's back in the story. This is terrifying. I don't know if I would want to march with these Nazgul flying over my head. Alrighty. Ooh, the west wind. So time and the hopeless journey wore away. Upon the fourth day from the crossroads, and the sixth from Minas Tirith, they came at last to the end of the living lands, and began to pass into the desolation that lay before the gates of the pass of Cirith Gorgor. And they could descry the marshes and the desert that stretched north and west of the Emyn Muil. So desolate were those places, and so deep the horror that lay on them, that some of the hosts were unmanned, and they could neither walk nor ride further north. So deep the horror that lay on them, that some of the host were unmanned, and they could neither walk nor ride further north? Interesting. That's crazy that they're like horror struck. Yeah, scared to death. That's crazy. I hope Aragorn does something to heal them. Aragorn looked at them, and there was pity in his eyes, rather than wrath. Oh man. For these were young men from Rohan, from Westfold far away, or husbandmen from Losternack. And to them Mordor had been from childhood a name of evil, and yet unreal, a legend that had no part in their simple life. And now they walk like men in a hideous dream made true. And they understood not this war, nor why fate should lead them to such a pass. Go, said Aragorn, but keep what honor you may, and do not run. And there is a task which you may attempt, and so not be wholly shamed. Take your way southwest till you come to Cair Andros. And if it is still held by enemies, as I think, then retake it if you can, and hold it to the last, and unhold it to the last in defense of Gondor and Rohan. Man. That's cool. That's sad, but that's like a great thing that Aragorn is doing here. I love that. Still giving them honor. There's such a good balance here. Man. It's such a kindness that Aragorn is doing here. This is like how you eliminate shame from someone. Man, I have to sit and digest this for a while. Let me finish this one paragraph. Then some, being shamed by his mercy, overcame their fear and went on. And the others took new hope, hearing of a manful deed with their measure that they could turn to. And they departed. And so, since many men had already been left at the crossroads, it was with less than 6,000 that the captains of the West came at last to challenge the Black Gate and the might of Mordor. What a great moment. Merciful leadership, for sure. Huh. Aragorn's underrated greatest moment. His moment dispelling shame. That is a phenomenal moment. It's like so interesting too, because I often find that people who haven't experienced something like that don't really necessarily know how to give it out or give like mercy or grace like that. So it makes me curious for how Aragorn has actually experienced the Black Breath now. I'm curious. I'm interested that I never really thought about that in the last chapter. Like, why is he able to heal this so well? Yes, because Elrond taught him how to do it and because he knows how to deal with it. But I'm sure that he also dealt with that himself. Because the way that he's dealing with these people here makes it to me seem like he's potentially dealt with some of the shame before it and overcome it to some extent. And he knows what this feels like for them. He's like someone who can sympathize with them. It's so interesting. It really makes me curious for all of his backstory now. Yeah, he's 87. He's got a lot of life under his belt. That is so cool. Using the Morgul Veil in the search for Gollum. Man. Yeah, I want to reread this scene in Breed now. That's why I really want to reread this so bad, because I feel like there's so much else that I'm going to pick up on a second read, and then on a fifth read, and then a 20th read. We're going to be doing this till the day that I die, guys. So you guys are stuck with me. He is built different. I kind of love that. He's so kind and compassionate here. I love this. Man, Aragorn is just really coming into his own, in my opinion. Yeah, court-martialed or probably shot for sure. I can't wait to read the appendices on this. I love that. You read it 10 times and still make new connections. His understanding of people is what makes him get to be king, fit to be king. Yeah, for sure. He just understands people so well. I love this section. What a great, low, underrated Aragorn moment. I kind of wish that was in the movies. I understand why it was cut, but it would have been great. All right, let's keep reading. They advanced now slowly, expecting at every hour some answer to their challenge. And they drew together, since it was but a waste of men to send out scouts or small parties from the main host. At nightfall on the 5th day of the march from the Morgul Vale, they made their last camp and set fires about it of such dead wood and heath as they could find. They passed the hours of night in wakefulness, and they were aware of many things half seen, and walked and prowled all about them. And they heard the howling of wolves. The wind had died, and all the air seemed still. They could see little, for though it was cloudless and the waxing moon was 4 nights old, there were smokes and fumes that rose out of the earth, and the white crescent was shrouded in the mist of Mordor. It grew cold. As morning came, the wind began to stir again, but now it came from the north, and soon it freshened to a rising breeze. All the night walkers were gone. Night walkers, and the land seemed empty. North amid their noisome pits lay the first of the great heaps and hills and of slag and broken rock and blasted earth, the vomit of the maggot folk of Mordor. But south and now near loomed the great rampart of Cirith Gorger, and the Black Gate amidmost. The two towers of the Teeth, tall and dark upon either side. So those are the 2 towers. Are those the 2 towers? It's a question. It's an interesting question. Oh, Gravel Nerd, what the heck? Your wife hasn't read or watched Lord of the Rings? Come on. You got to get her on that. For their last march, the captains had turned away from the old road as it bent east and avoided the peril of the lurking hills. And so now they were approaching the Morannon from the northwest, even as Frodo had done. Huh. Interesting. Hold on. Let me pull out a map real quick. I need to just figure this out. Give me a half second. Come on a journey with me. Map of Middle Earth. So, the crossroad. All right. You know what? If any of you guys have coding experience, you guys need to make a better map than this, a more detailed map of this website. I love this website, but at the same time, I need something more detailed. Okay. I know I did save the other map to my desktop, but I have so many things that I download every single day for pictures and stuff like that it's lost in there somewhere. I need to just save it to, did I save it to pictures somewhere? Oh, I'll look at this later. Okay, so hold on. I just want to figure this out quick. Okay, so they come here at the crossroads. and they come up to the North Ithilien, and then they go around, and then they come this way to the Black Gate, just as they came. Okay. I know I need to be more organized. Yeah, I need a bit. There are more detailed maps. The map of Gondor. I know the ones in the book are a little bit better, but the ones in the book are small, and in this edition, they're not great because they're just kind of all over the place. Like, I mean, that's like, it's like a decent map, but it's like I need this zoomed in 20 times. This is essentially what is on that. Yeah. One sec. Hold on. All right, let's keep reading. Reading. The two vast iron doors of the Black Gate under its frowning arch were fast closed. Upon the battlement nothing could be seen. All was silent, but watchful. They were come to the last end of their folly, and stood forlorn and chill in the grey light of the early day before tower and walls which their army could not assault with hope, not even if it had brought thither engines of great power. And the enemy had no more force than would suffice for the manning of the gate and the wall alone. Yet they knew that all the hills and rocks about the Morannon were filled with hidden foes, and the shadowy defile beyond was bored and tunneled by teeming broods of evil things. And as they stood, they saw all the Nazgul gathered together, hovering above the towers of the teeth like vultures. And they knew that they were watched, but still the enemy made no sign. No choice was left them but to play their part to its end. Therefore Aragorn now set the host in such array as could best be contrived, and they were drawn up upon two great hills of blasted stone. The earth that orcs had piled in years of labor before them toward Mordor lay like a moat, a great mire of reeking mud and foul-smelling pools. When all was ordered, the captains rode forth toward the Black Gate with a great guard of horsemen and the banner and heralds and trumpeters. There was Gandalf as chief herald, and Aragorn with the sons of Elrond, and Éomer of Rohan, King Éomer, I should say, and Imrahil, and Legolas, and Gimli, and Peregrine were bidden to go also, so that all the enemies of Mordor should have a witness. They came within cry of the Morannon, and unfurled the banner, and blew upon their trumpets. And the heralds stood out, and sent their voices up over the battlements of Mordor. Come forth, they cried. Let the Lord of the Black Land come forth. Justice shall be done upon him, for wrongfully he has made war upon Gondor and wrested its lands. Therefore the king of Gondor demands that he should atone for his evils and depart then and forever. Come forth. Okay. Thank you, Attila. I appreciate it. I appreciate you. If I am reading this, obviously I'm reading this for the first time. If I don't know anything about the movie, I keep thinking, oh, interesting. Detailed map of the area in the front of the gate. This is kind of cool. The North Black Gate. This is cool. This is where they were. Slag Hills. Um, and then this is the good map. This is my favorite map. This is the best one that they have. Come on. There we go. All right, so they come up. Noon, and they come up and they're right here. The battle plane. That's cool. So the two hills are probably right here, here and here. This is the Mornon, Udun. Oh, is that the Flame of Udun? Is he saying Flame of Mordor there? All these little connections just when I look at a map. When he says Flame of Udun, does that mean they dug up a Balrog in this little area and this Balrog went to, okay, different Udun? All these little connections are kind of fun. I was about to lose my mind on that one for a second. Udun just means hell. Interesting. Huh. Flame of hell. That's crazy. All right. What was I going to say? Oh, I'm reading. If I don't know anything about the movies here, this is such an interesting section because I'm like, this is the time when Sauron is going to come out. They're calling the Lord of the Black Land. They're calling Sauron to come out and pay for what he's done. I don't think that's going to happen, obviously, but what a coward Sauron is too. Let's see what happens. There was a long silence, and from wall and gate no cry or sound was heard in answer. But Sauron had already laid his plans, and he had a mind first to play these mice cruelly before he struck to kill. So it was that, even as the captains were about to turn away, the silence was broken suddenly. There came a long rolling of great drums like thunder in the mountains, and then a braying of horns that shook the very stones and stunned men's ears. And thereupon the door of the black gate was thrown open with a great clang. And out of it there came an embassy from the dark tower. There we go. What a Scooby-Doo villain thing to do. It's so true. Huh. At its head, there rode a tall and evil shape, mounted upon a black horse, if horse it was, for it was huge and hideous, and its face was a frightful mask, more like a skull than a living head. And in the sockets of his eyes and in its nostrils there burned a flame. The rider was robed in all black, and black was his lofty helm. Yet this was no ringwraith, but a living man. The lieutenant of the Tower of Barad-dûr he was, and his name is remembered in no tale, for he himself had forgotten it. Oh. And he said, I am the mouth of Sauron. But it is told he was a renegade, who came of the race of those who are named the Black Númenóreans, for they established their dwelling in Middle-earth during the years of Sauron's domination, and they worshipped him, being enamored of evil knowledge. And he entered the service of the Dark Tower when it first rose again. And because of his cunning, he grew higher. He grew ever higher in the Lord's favor. And he learned great sorcery, and knew much of the mind of Sauron. And he was more cruel than any orc. This is terrifying. I want to deep dive on this guy. I don't, but I do at the same time. Oh, that's a terrifying paragraph. He it was that now rode out, and with him came only a small company of black harnessed soldiery. and a single banner. It pays to learn evil arts. This is a new side character. Yeah, this is terrifying. 100% is on the bingo card because I feel like I say that everywhere. This really is such an interesting, it's like a horror story. Half of this book is like horror. Yeah, I do imagine him with a really long, slim face. You know what I kind of picture him as? This is a weird thing this is what happened in my head when I read this. Let me look this up. What does the guy say? This guy. Okay, hold on. You know in Star Wars, when there's this one character... This dude, hold on. Hold on. This guy, where he goes, "We are being held hostage." This is the guy that makes me think of the Mouth of Sauron. Just put him in all black with high collars like that. I feel like this is the guy that I kind of think who is the actor. Wait, this is the same actor? There's no way. Is this guy the same actor that actually plays the Mouth of Sauron in the movie? There's no way. That'd be so cool. No way! Are you kidding me? That is actually crazy. I'm losing my mind right now. That is nuts. That is so crazy. Maybe that was just like some weird thing. Yeah, I need to... Hold on. You just checked? That's crazy. That's so cool. I cannot believe that. That is actually blowing my mind. That is nuts. That's funny that was the guy that I thought of, and he literally plays the same role as the Mouth of Sauron. That blew my mind. What a wild time that we live in. Yeah, profile casting for sure. He just feels like the Mouth of Sauron. Nope. What does the guy look like in real life? Hold on. I need to look this up. Mouth of Sauron actor. Bruce Spence? No way, guys. Look at this. This is crazy. Oh my gosh. I am losing my mind off of this. They're the same guy. It's probably the teeth. It was probably the teeth of this guy and this guy. That is so funny. A long face. Yeah, this long face dude. This is all his roles. He was in Ace Ventura. That's so funny. This is crazy. That is legitimately blowing my mind. I honestly think the Mouth of Sauron in the movies is great. I think it's a good depiction so far. I mean, I still haven't read. I've read like one paragraph, but I still think it's a good depiction. I like when the black stuff comes out of his mouth, like his like bile is black. I think they talked about that in the appendices somewhere. I remember. Where'd my pencil go? No, it's in my book. That's why. That is so funny. Michael, welcome. I was wondering when your name was gonna pop up. So this, hold on, he's supposed to be regal, but he's not at the same time. He doesn't have a helmet, right? It doesn't say that he has a helmet. Hold on, let me read this description again. Here we go. One sec. At its head, there rode a tall and evil shape, mounted upon a black horse, if horse it was, for it was huge and hideous. And its face was a frightful mask, more like a skull than a living head. And in the sockets of his eyes and nostrils there burned a flame, So that's talking about the horse. The rider was robed all in black, and black was his lofty helm. So he does have a helm, but he has like a tall helmet. Nice, Michael. So he has a helm, not a weird mask. Okay. Okay. But still, I still kind of like the Mouth of Sauron in the movies. I am the Mouth of Sauron. Oh, no, hold on. Lofty helm. This was no ringwraith, but a living man. The lieutenant of the Tower of Barad-dûr he was. And his name is remembered in no tale, for he himself had forgotten it. And he said, I am the Mouth of Sauron. But it is told that he was a renegade, who came of the race of those that are named the Black Númenóreans. I'm curious about what that is, too. For they established their dwelling in Middle-earth beyond the years of Sauron's domination. And they worshipped him, being enamored of evil knowledge. And he entered the service of the Dark Tower when it first rose again. And because of his cunning, he grew even higher in the Lord's favor. And he learned great sorcery and knew much of the mind of Sauron. And he was more cruel than any orc. He has special blood? Interesting. I like it. Yeah, I actually kind of still like the movie depiction. Because it says he's a man, but it doesn't necessarily say, like, he's like I would say he's like disfigured. If he's forgotten his name, he's got to be like gaunt and like rough looking. And like, I'm sure that they probably can think that he's a man somehow, but like not at the same time, which to me is kind of what the mouth looks like. Like, I think he might look like a normal person, but at the same time, not. Because how old is he? Yeah, it doesn't necessarily say he's been mutilated, but in my opinion, maybe this is my movie knowledge messing with my book knowledge. It doesn't say that he's been mutilated, but the descriptions here, to me, make it sound like if he's forgotten his name, the lieutenant of the Barad-dûr, and his name is remembered in no tale, for he himself had forgotten it. And no ringwraith it was, but a living man. And that's the sentence too. No ringwraith it was, but a living man. It's comparing the ringwraith to him a little bit. So if he's a few thousand years old, then he probably looks like the Mouth of Sauron in the movies. maybe not. Yeah, the fact that he's forgotten his name is the sentence that's sticking out to me. He was a renegade. Whatever he is, he's kind of creepy. Yeah, it's definitely not the worst change that they made. It's interesting. This is one that I'm like okay with, actually. He it was that rode out now, but with him came only a small company of black harness soldiery, and a single banner, black but bearing on it in red the evil eye. Now halting a few paces before the captains of the West, he looked them up and down and laughed. Oh, that's kind of evil. It is so interesting. I talked about laughter in a few other of my videos, but it's so interesting, this good kind of laughter from this bad kind of laughter. Like, laughter dispels things. It like gives people hope, and like it like heals. But this one is just downright evil. A few paces before the captain of the West, he looked them up and down and laughed. Is there anyone in this rout with authority to treat with me, he asked, or indeed with wit to understand me? Not thou, at least, he mocked, turning to Aragorn with scorn. It needs more to make a king than a piece of elvish glass, or a rabble such as this. Why, any brigand of the hills can show as good a following. Is Aragorn going to chop off his head? I don't think that he's going to do it. I think Book Aragorn, maybe a bit more noble, probably wouldn't chop off his head. Yeah, using thou toward the king, not great, because that's familiar. Use you. It's a great point. Thou at least. Familiar. We don't talk about Rings of Power. This guy's interesting. Aragorn said not in answer, but he took the other's eye and held it. And for a moment they strove thus. But soon, though Aragorn did not stir nor move hand to weapon, the others quailed and gave back as if menaced with a blow. I am a herald and ambassador and may not be assailed, he cried. Yeah, this is a staring contest right now. That was a great line. Why does he say, I am a herald and ambassador and may not be assailed? Is this Aragorn still being humble and not necessarily calling himself the king? I guess that's true that he's just saying, like, relax, let's treat. Wait, that was the mouth that said that? Hold on, Aragorn doesn't say that? It says, hold on, let me read this. Aragorn did not stir nor move hand to weapon. The other quailed and gave back as if menaced with a blow. Oh, okay. That's even better then. I love this. This guy's like, relax. Hold on, the other being the mouth of Sauron. This makes it so much better. He's like, I'm just a messenger. I'm just a messenger. And Aragorn's just looking at him. Wow, this is so good. I love this. This is so cool. Aragorn doesn't even need words. He hasn't spoken a word yet, and this guy's terrified of him. His wordless victory. That is so sick. I love that. Where such laws hold, said Gandalf, it is also the custom for ambassadors to use less insolence. But no one has threatened you. You have naught to fear from us until your errand is done. But unless your master has come to new wisdom, then all with his servant you will be in great peril. So, said the messenger, then thou art the spokesperson, or the spokesman, old greybeard. Have we not heard of thee at whiles, and thy wanderings, ever hatching plots and mischief at a safe distance? But this time thou hast stuck out thy nose too far, Master Gandalf, and thou shalt see what comes to him who sets his foolish webs before the feet of Sauron the Great. I have tokens that I was bidden to show thee. To thee in especial, if thou shouldst dare to come. He signed to one of his guards, and he came forward bearing a bundle swathed in black cloths. Oof. The messenger put these aside, and there, to the wonder and dismay of all, the captain held up first the short sword that Sam had carried. And next a grey cloak with an elven brooch. And last the coat of mithril mail that Frodo had worn, wrapped in his tattered garments. A blackness came before their eyes, and it seemed to them in a moment of silence that their world stood still. But their hearts were dead, and their last hope gone. Pippin, who stood behind Prince Imrahil, sprang forward with a cry of grief. Silence, said Gandalf sternly, thrusting it back. But the messenger laughed aloud. I just am thinking how devastating this would be. Not knowing the movies at all. Because you're not at Frodo yet. You're going, Frodo and Sam got caught. And you're thinking, Gollum has the ring now. It literally urges you to read the next book to figure out what happened. Holy smokes. What happened to the sword? This would just crush book readers after this. Because you don't know that they just have it because you don't know Frodo, because at this point Frodo and Sam are safe before this. You know that in the movies. Man. This is such a good writing implement by Tolkien. And this is why I love that he didn't intermingle the stories that much and that he just kind of broke it up into, this is so good. With no movie. This is so good. You read it before the movies came out. Could not stop at this chapter. Man. Oh. I could not imagine that right now. I would be lost. I would be losing it. Because you just don't know that they lost these yet. Oh, this is so great. So you have yet another of these imps with you, he cried. What use do you find in them? I cannot guess. But to send them as spies into Mordor is beyond even your accustomed folly. Oh my gosh. Man. And it would be vain for you to deny them now. Oh, wait, hold on. Accustomed folly. Still, I thank him, for it is plain that this brat at least has seen these tokens before, and it would be vain for you to deny them now. I do not wish to deny them, said Gandalf. Indeed, I know them all and their history. And despite your scorn, foul mouth of Sauron, you cannot say as much. But why do you bring them here? Dwarf coat, elf cloak, blade of the downfallen west, and spy from the little rat land of the Shire. Nay, do not start. We know it well. Here there are marks of a conspiracy. Now maybe he has bore that these things was that. Now maybe he that bore these things was a creature that you would not grieve to lose, and maybe otherwise, one dear to you, perhaps. If so, take swift counsel, with what little wit is left to you. For Sauron does not love spies, and what his fate shall be depends now on your choice. What his fate shall be? Oh, hold on. That... No way. So they're holding him for hostage. What the heck? This is crazy. I'm literally writing in my book, hostage in all caps. This is nuts. that's a great point, David. He who. That is a great point. Hold on, let me reread this. Wow. That's such a cool point. That is such a cool point. Hold on. So you have yet another one of these imps with you, he cried. What use you find in them, I cannot guess, but to send them, he's just talking about Shire folk, as spies into Mordor is beyond even your accustomed folly. Still, I thank him, for it is plain that this brat at least has seen these tokens before, and it would be vain for you to deny them now. I do not wish to deny them, said Gandalf. Indeed, I know them all and their secret history, and despite your scorn, foul mouth of Sauron, you cannot say as much. But why do you bring them here? Dwarf coat, elf cloak, blade of the downfallen west, and spy from the little rat land of the Shire. Spy, singular. Nay, do not start. We know it well. Here are the marks of a conspiracy. Now that he that bore these things... Oh, dang! That's such a good point. That's like the one little bit of hope that he gives you. Was a creature that you would not grieve to lose. And maybe otherwise one dear to you, perhaps. If so, take swift counsel with what little wit is left to you. For Sauron does not love spies, and what his fate shall be depends now on your choice. Dang. Crazy. This is blowing my mind. The one indication that he talks about the singular versus plural, that gives the reader maybe a glimmer of hope that they're telling a lie here. I got it right now saying that. That is so very cool. Ah. What's up, everyone? What's up? Everyone probably coming in late. Welcome. Also, everyone liked the stream. It's literally half of people who have liked who are on this right now. It's 118, 235. I always say that. I know you guys. I haven't noticed something huge. Wait, what? I'm so nervous now. Dwarf coat. The mithril. Elf cloak. Blade of the downfallen west. That's cool. So they know that it's the downfallen west. It's not Sting. Whoa. Oh my gosh. This is crazy. This has to be the most loaded chapter or the most loaded paragraph that Tolkien ever wrote. I could just imagine him sitting there looking at trying to rewrite this paragraph for hours, trying to get everything perfect. I feel like there's so much in here. Oh my gosh. And this is just exceptional. This is so good. The most loaded chapter. Blade of the Downfallen West. Loaded paragraph. The cute fox corner. Thanks, I appreciate it. I'm glad that you like it. This is crazy. This paragraph is blowing my mind. Sauron's acting like he knows everything, but I'm curious if Gandalf has to be able to piece together to know that this is a lie. And it's crazy in the movie they don't show that, but these things are the things that prove that what they're saying is a lie. We have 2 pages left. If they're gonna piece this together, please. I actually don't think they're going to piece it together because I think Tolkien wants you to stay in this misery for a bit. I don't think they're going to piece it together. If I'm a writer, I'm not putting this together. I'm not having my characters put this together. Like, I probably wouldn't have them put it together, but oh, mm, this is so good. Tolkien, oh man. Okay, I need to keep reading, guys. Let's keep going. Yeah, he is excellent at keeping us in mystery. Oh, no one answered him, but he saw their faces gray with fear and the horror in their eyes, and he laughed again, for it seemed to him that his sport went well. Good, good, he said. He was dear to you, I see, or else his errand was one that you do not wish to fail. It has. And now he shall endure the slow torment of years, as long and slow as our arts in the great tower can contrive, and never be released, unless maybe when he is changed and broken, so that he may come to you, and you shall see what you've done. This shall surely be unless you accept my lord's terms. Name the terms, said Gandalf steadily. But those nearby saw the anguish in his face. And now he seemed an old and wizened man, crushed, defeated at last. And they did not doubt that he would accept. Oh, this is so sad. Gandalf is so much more grandfatherly in the book. He seemed an old, wizened man, crushed, defeated at last. Oh, this has so much more weight than the movies. These are the terms, said the messenger, and smiled as he eyed them one by one. The rabble of Gondor and its deluded allies shall withdraw at once beyond the Anduin. Whoa. First, that's a crazy... That's crazy. First, taking oaths never again to assail Sauron the Great in arms, open or secret. All lands east of the Anduin shall be Sauron's forever, solely. That's crazy. The interesting is, the negotiation is interesting compared to the conversation with Saruman Orthanc. For real. Oh, that'd be a really fascinating one. Oh, the treat that they have with them. The BBC radio adaptation does this good. I gotta listen to that. Yeah, I'm keeping my eyes a little fixed on this so I don't get any spoilers, but this is a crazy first term. So they just want to control east of the Anduin. West of the Anduin, as far as the Misty Mountains and the Gap of Rohan, shall be tributary to Mordor, and men there shall bear no weapons, but shall have leave to govern their own affairs. It starts with that. Let's admit they wouldn't stop there. But they shall help to rebuild Isengard, which they have wantonly destroyed, and that shall be Sauron's. And there his lieutenant shall dwell. Not Saruman, but one more worthy of trust. Is this just like is this Shagrat? Huh? It can't be the mouth of Sauron. The mouth of Sauron is just an emissary. I know it's probably in the next sentence, but I like thinking about this. Looking in the messenger's eyes, they read his thoughts. Oh, he was to be that lieutenant and gather all that remained of the West under his sway. He would be their tyrant and they his slaves. Interesting. It would be Gorbag, not Shagrat. Crazy. Crazy. These terms are crazy to me. The terms of Sauron. What a chapter. Oh my gosh. But Gandalf said, "This is much to demand for the delivery of one servant, that your master should receive in exchange what he must else fight many a war to gain. Or has the field of Gondor destroyed his hope in war, so that he falls to haggling? And if indeed we rated this prisoner so high, what surety have we that Sauron, the base master of treachery, will keep his part? Where is this prisoner? Let him be brought forth and yielded to us, and then we will consider these demands." Smart, Gandalf. That's smart. It seemed then to Gandalf, intent, watching him as a man engaged in fencing with a deadly foe, that for the taking of a breath the messenger was at a loss. Yet swiftly he laughed again. His laughter is a massive what's the word? Like compensation. That's not the word. His laughter is like a distraction for him. What's the word I'm looking for? Smokescreen. Oh, yes, that's the word I'm looking for. Smoke coping mechanism, yes. His shield, absolutely. Like he doesn't know how to deal with things, so he just laughs. Oh, he calls him a spy too. It's great. He doesn't have the ring. So he thinks that, but so he, oh, this is, oh my gosh, this is so good. That paragraph is legitimately one of the most mind blowing paragraphs that I've ever read. Oh my gosh. This is so good. This is so good. I'm curious. Hold on. Gandalf says. So in Gandalf's mind right now, let me try to get Gandalf's mind right. He potentially, I don't think he knows everything. I don't think he knows that they're lying really about this. He knows they're lying to some extent. He probably thinks they have Frodo captive. And or there'd be confusion there. So he knows that he probably doesn't have the ring. In Gandalf's mind right now, does he think that Sam is running away with maybe like in Gandalf's mind he thinks Frodo gave Sting to Sam and Sam is running away with the ring? He knows they haven't got Frodo. Do you really think? I don't know. I feel like he does know they have Frodo, or he thinks it a little bit. He knows that they have one of them, and I think Gandalf is trying to suss out who they have. So he knows that Sauron doesn't have the ring, but he doesn't know who he actually has. Interesting, because Sauron would be the one that rode out if he had the ring. This is just expert writing craft. This is one of the most mind-blowing sections that I've read. Like, I feel like this turned into a mystery novel now. Because, again, you don't know what's going on after this. You know what I mean? I guess he probably wouldn't ride out with the ring. But, yeah, I don't know. I guess not. How, in what indication would you guys give that he has, um, that he has, that he knows Sauron doesn't have the ring? Because he's calling him a spy, so he hasn't picked up on the ring there. But is that the only indication that Gandalf would know that he doesn't have the ring? He knows there is only one captive and no ring. I can't finish. I gotta theorize for a quick second. So they're negotiating, not attacking. He suspects. I thought Sam or Frodo had died, which is why it was singular. I was devastated by this scene as a kid. I could imagine. Oh my gosh. Yeah, you guys got to give me your first impressions of this. We'll talk about that after I finish the chapter. But I want to know everything about the first time you guys read this and what you thought. Oh, this is just. This is so good. Oh my gosh. It'd be so fun to figure this out and read this over and over and over again and try to figure out all these little things. Okay, let's keep reading. This is just excellent. I cannot get over this. It seemed then to Gandalf, intent, watching him as a man engaged in fencing with a deadly foe, that for the taking of the breath of the messenger, that for the taking of a breath, the messenger was at a loss. Yet swiftly he laughed again. Do not bandy words in your insolence with the mouth of Sauron, he cried. Surety you crave, Sauron gives none. If you sue for his clemency, you must first do his bidding. These are his terms. Take them or leave them. These we will take, said Gandalf suddenly. He cast aside his cloak, and white light shone forth like a sword in that black place. Whoa! Before his upraised hand, the foul messenger recoiled, and Gandalf, coming, seized and took from him the tokens: coat, cloak, and sword. These we will take in memory of our friend, he cried. But as for your terms, we reject them utterly. Get you gone. Get you gone. Whoa, what a line. Get you gone, for your embassy is over and death is near to you. We did not come here to waste words in treating with Sauron, faithless and accursed, still less with one of his slaves. Be gone. Get you gone is like legitimately one of the greatest. I need to end all my videos now by saying get you gone. No, that's too insulting. That is such a good way to dismiss someone. If ever I'm in like a heated negotiation like that and I really don't like someone, I'm just gonna say get you gone. Oh, that's great. Then the twisted messenger of Mordor laughed no more. His face was twisted with amazement and anger to the likeness of some wild beast that, as it crouches on its prey, is smitten on the muzzle with a stinging rod. Rage filled him, and his mouth slavered, and shapeless sounds of fury came strangling from his throat. But he looked at the fell faces of the captains and their deadly eyes, and fear overcame his wrath. He gave a great cry, and turned, leaped upon his steed, and with his company galloped madly back to Cirith Ungol. But as they went, his soldiers blew their horns in signal long arranged, and even before they came to the gate, Sauron sprang his trap. Dun dun dun. GYG instead of go with the goodwill of all men. Yeah, no war crime by Aragorn, so he doesn't cut his head off, which is probably pretty good. You don't want to kill an emissary like that. Aragorn doesn't say a single word. Oh, so his face was visible. That is cool. He looked. That's a good point. Small little mention of that. His facial expression. His face was twisted with amazement and anger to the likeness of some wild beast that, as it crouches on its prey, is smitten on the muzzle with a stinging rod. I will say, one real quick thing. I do love the depiction of the mouth of Sauron in the movie, in that you only see his mouth. Like his eyes, the rest of his face doesn't matter. I kind of love that. I still think that's like a cool depiction of it. Very different from the book. Maybe not the greatest adaptation, but I kind of still think that's great. It's interesting. It did kind of look like Monty Python and the Holy Grail, but like a dark version of that, which maybe is like Lord of the Rings. It was an open-faced helm. Maybe a little comical and stupid to some of you, but I think it's kind of fun. Wow, what a great chapter. We got rain. What a cozy day. We get to finish the book 5 in rain. A page and a half. This is also a great little I think, again, Aragorn not speaking here is so interesting. He just has an aura that casts fear in these people. Here we go. Let's read another section. Drums rolled and fires leaped up. The great doors of the Black Gate swung back wide. Out of it streamed a great host as swiftly as swirling waters when a sluice is lifted. Out of it streamed a great host as swiftly as swirling waters when a sluice is lifted. a lot of sibilance there. The captains mounted again and rode back. And from the hosts of Mordor there went up a jeering yell. Dust rose smothering the air. As from nearby there marched up an army of Easterlings that had waited for the signal in the shadows of Ered Luthwi, beyond the further tower. Down from the hills on either side of the Morannon poured orcs innumerable. The men of the west were trapped. And soon, all about the grey mounds where they stood, forces 10 times, and more than 10 times their match, would ring them in the sea of enemies. Sauron had taken the proffered bait in jaws of steel. Interesting. I like that it says Sauron had taken the bait now. Little time was left to Aragorn for the ordering of his battle. Left on one hill he stood with Gandalf, and there, fair and desperate, was raised the banner of the tree and the stars. Upon the other hill, hard stood by the banners of Rohan and Dol Amroth, White Horse and Silver Swan. That's cool. And about each hill a ring was made facing all ways, bristling with spear and sword. But in the front, toward Mordor, where the first bitter assault would come, there stood the sons of Elrond on the left with the Dunedain about them. And on the right, the Prince Emerhil with the men of Dol Amroth, tall and fair, and picked men of the Tower Guard. A little eye itch. The wind blew, and the trumpets sang. The arrows whined, but the sun now, climbing toward the south, was veiled in the reeks of Mordor. And through a threatening haze it gleamed remote, a sullen red, as if it were the ending of the day, or the end maybe of all the light of all the world of light. And out of the gathering murk the Nazgul came with their cold voices, crying words of death. And then all hope was quenched. Morannon, not Morannon, Morannon. Okay, good. Thanks for the $2 too. 6,000 under Aragorn, 60,000 at least for Mordor. Crazy. Sauron missed his chance to surrender. I love that. Yeah, this really is the best of all the kingdoms, all the great kingdoms of men in Middle-earth right now. It's the 8, not the 9 anymore. Yes. This is great. More anon. More and anon. Ever and anon. Okay, let's finish her up. Pippin had bowed, crushed with horror, when he heard Gandalf rejected the terms and doom Frodo to the torment of the tower. But he had mastered himself, and now he stood beside Baragon in the front rank of Gondor with Emerhil's men. For it seemed best to him to die soon and leave the bitter story of his life, since all was in ruin. Ah, I wish Merry was here, he heard himself saying. And quick thoughts raced through his mind. Even as he watched the enemy come charging to the assault. Well, now at any rate, I understand poor Denethor a little better. No! We might die together, Merry and I. And since die we must, why not? Well, as he is not here, I hope he'll find an easier end. But now, I must do my best. This is crushing. Denethor was right all along. No. The despair of Pippin here. Pippin doesn't want to die alone. But still, he goes, but now I must do my best. He drew his sword and looked at it, and the intertwining shapes of red and gold, and the flowing characters of Numenor glinted like fire upon the blade. This was made for just such an honor, he thought. If only I could smite that foul messenger with it, then almost I should draw a level with old Merry. Well, I'll smite some of his beastly brood before the end. I wish I could see cool sunlight and green grass again. Oh. Even as he thought these things, the first assault crashed into them. The orcs, hindered by mires that lay before the hills, halted and poured their arrows into the defending ranks. But through them there came striding up, roaring like beasts, a great company of hill trolls out of Gorgoroth. Taller and broader than men they were, and they were clad only in close-fitting mesh of horny scales, or maybe that was their hideous hide. But they bore round bucklers, huge and black, and wielded heavy hammers in their knotted hands. Reckless they sprang into the pools and waded across, bellowing as they came. Like a storm they broke upon the line of the men of Gondor, and beat upon helm and head, and arm and shield, as smiths hewing the hot bending iron. At Pippin's side, Baragon was stunned and overborne, and he fell. And the great troll chief that smote him down bent over him, reaching out a clutching claw. For these fell creatures would bite the throats of those that they drew down. Then Pippin stabbed upwards, and the written blade of Westerness pierced through the hide and went deep into the vitals of the troll, and his black blood came gushing out. He toppled forward and came crashing down like a falling rock, burying those beneath him. Blackness and stench and crushing pain came upon Pippin, and his mind fell away into great darkness. So it ends as I guessed it would, his thought said, even as it fluttered away. And it laughed little within him ere it fled. Almost gay it seemed to be casting off at last all doubt and care and fear. And then even as it winged away into forgetfulness, it heard voices, and they seemed to be crying in some forgotten world far above. The eagles are coming! The eagles are coming! For one moment more, Pippin's thought hovered. Bilbo, it said. But no. That came in his tale long ago. This is my tale. And it is ended now. Goodbye. And his thought fled far away, and his eyes saw no more. Are you kidding me with that ending? I swear on my life, if Pippin is actually dead in the book, I will be furious. He has to still be alive. He has to be alive. There's no way. I don't believe you, Michael. Oh my gosh. I am like Aragorn in the movies. I do not believe it. I'm going to cut all of your guys' heads off. I do not believe it. He's alive. What a cliffhanger for this. Oh my gosh. I don't know what to do with this right now. I did not expect it to end here. To be completely honest, I was thinking in my head, why did he not end with the section before this? Like, this is a great, to me, when I read this paragraph, I'm like, this is a great cliffhanger. And then out of the gathering murk, with Nazgul came their cold voices and crying words of death, and then all hope was quenched. I'm like, that's where it should end. And then I flipped a page and I'm like, why is there like a little Pippin thing in here? And then this truly is the cliffhanger. I am legitimately scared that Pippin's going to be dead. I don't believe that he's dead. I think he's going to be alive. I would be gutted. I would be so gutted if Pippin is dead. And his thought fled far away, and his eyes saw no more. I don't know what to do with this piece of information right now. This is definitely my least favorite ending of this book, of these books. Oh my gosh, I don't know what to do with this bit of information, guys. I don't know what to do. I'm at a loss. I don't know. But thanks for the $5. And yes, the Eagles are coming. America's coming. America. Pippin's huffle was puffed. I just am. I'm scared. I am scared right now. Is Pippin dead? That's going to be the title of an essay that I write. That's going to be one of those essays that I write. I'll make a video about it. Is Pippin dead? And then I'm not going to read any of the comments. I'm not going to look at a single comment on that video. I'm going to block all comments. I might honestly turn comments off for a video like that. What the heck? I'm so confused. How could he end the book there? I'm kind of gutted. And here I am worried about one Hobbit, and then all of a sudden at the end of this book, my mind is completely cast away to Frodo and Sam. And it's only on Pippin. Gosh. Does he end each of the books with something about a hobbit? Book one ends with Frodo's victorious moment, where you're like, he's definitely still alive, but you don't know that for sure. Book two ends with Pippin and Merry running away and Frodo and Sam splitting off. Book three ends with them rushing to Minas Tirith. One of the hobbits, they split up the hobbits in Minas Tirith. Book four ends with Frodo and Sam. That's one of the greatest endings of all time. And then book five right now. Right now, book five goes and ends with Pippin potentially dying. I don't know what to do with this little bit of information. Ah. I'm just... I would be so mad if Pippin dies. I will not accept his death. I will hold on, and I am holding on to that. I'm not going to answer that question. If one of the hobbits had to die, which one am I going to choose? That's the worst question ever. I can't have any of them die. They're my four favorite people in this book. Wait, hold on. Time out, too. Baragon's not dead, though. Baragon's about to die. But they had this one moment that I was a little confused at. Like a storm, they broke upon the line of men at the Mount of Gondor and beat upon helm and head and arm and shield, a smith's hewing the hot bending iron. At Pippin's side, Baragon was stunned and overborne, and he fell. Fell, in my opinion, just means he just got knocked out, right? Pippin trolled the troll. Is this Pip's end? I don't know. Baragon too. Yeah, for real. We need to give some sympathy to Baragon because I just don't know. He fell. So we just don't know if that's dead or... I'll be so bummed. The great troll chief that smote him down, bent over him, reaching out a clutching claw. For these fell creatures would bite the throats of those that they threw down, and Pippin stabbed upwards. And the written blade of Westerness pierced through the hide and went deep into the vitals of the troll. His mind swayed into great darkness. So, in my opinion, Bear is gone. No. So he stabs up this troll. This troll falls on him and Baragon. And he's like trying to claw for air almost. And then all of a sudden he hears someone else yelling the eagles are coming. And then he just kind of thinks it's a dream. This is my tale and it is ended now. Goodbye. And his thought fled far away, and his eyes saw no more. I need to reread this full chapter a few times. There's so much in there. Oh my gosh. I don't know what to do with any of this information right now. I don't know what to do, guys. I feel lost. Don't go where I can't follow, Pippin. Oh gosh, I had so much that I wanted to talk about, and now I just have all of that thrown out of my head because I need to read and know that Pippin's alive. I'm glad that you've been waiting a long time for this. You guys get to just see me in agony now. Yeah, I read The Hobbit. Hast thou read The Hobbit? I'm glad that we're talking familiar here. Thou read The Hobbit. Yeah, anytime you guys talk about me in chat with a you, it has to be thou. You better get the essays out. I'm quick this week. Thou better get the essays out. You guys know me familiarly. I read The Hobbit in middle school and remembered really only one or two chapters of it. I remember the general storyline because of the movies, but I don't really remember most of what happens in that. So I remember the Riddles in the Dark chapter because we spent a long time in that chapter trying to figure out what the riddles were before we read it. And then I remember the Mirkwood, when they were walking through Mirkwood a little bit. I don't really remember some of the stuff that happened, but I remember it was really dark and then Bilbo goes up on top of a tree. But I don't really remember any of the actual words there. Like, I haven't really read it that much. Hobbit better than Tolkien, better than Fellowship plus Two Towers. But Return of the King better than The Hobbit, or no? Thy misery is sustenance to us. Thou hast yet again another chapter. This is crazy. What a good ending to this. I have to hold on. I want to read this so bad, but I have to do this with all of you guys. You guys are, I have to, it's like you guys can't carry the ring for me, but you can carry me. I have to let you guys see my anguish and all my pain. Because this is what this is about. So you guys can vicariously live through me reading this for the first time. I feel like I want to be sleep deprived and read the rest of this. But this is just so fun. I'm just having such a good time hanging out with you guys and talking about this book and reading. And just like, even one chapter at a time, it's agony for me to stop right now. Like, it is taking everything in me to not read and just like skim ahead. And just like see Pippin's name at the end of the story somewhere. That's all I want. All I want to do right now, but I can't do that. I'm not going to do that. I can't do it. I can't. Gosh, this is so good. This is so good. Oh my gosh, this is so good. Oh, Hannah, I can't. I want to, but I just can't. I cannot believe it ended like that. I keep saying that. I'm like a broken record right now, but I'm just kind of shocked at that, how it ended like that. Where we think that Pippin is dead. How good is book 5? Here's a nice funeral scene, guys. Stop. You're killing me. I am so nervous. This is the Pip end. We also got the most epic silent staring contest in fantasy literature of all time, for sure. Totally agree with that. Book 5 was, I think, as far as the writing is concerned, I think book 5 is the strongest. The story too, I think book 5 has captured me potentially the most. Although book 4 was great. Book 3 was great too. Book 2 and book 1 are also unbelievable. How do I compare? It's like comparing children right now. Book 5, I think I would probably say book 5 is the best written so far that I've read. I think book 1 is one of my favorites. And book 5 is just exceptional. But one of the reasons why I really love book 5 too is because it was so different from book to movie. It was just fun to like get all the differences in this. But at the same point, book 4 had a little bit of dragging. I think people will talk about it, how it's like a little slow moving. But it didn't feel like that for me because I just love spending time with Sam and Frodo. And so I'm pumped to get back to them. But at the same time, now I'm just worried about Pippin and I just want to get back to the end of book 5. And the end of book 4 was, I thought the end of book 4, I was like, there's nothing that can top the end of book 4. And I still probably would say the end of book 4 is maybe a little bit better of an ending than this one. But this one has maybe more of a cliffhanger. Maybe. No, I would say I'll probably still say book 4 has the better cliffhanger. Book 5 makes me want to skip ahead more. I think. I'll also say let's go at least 5 times. Oh, if Pippin is dead, I am rallying in the streets tonight, rioting. I would be gutted. Book 4 and book 5 are such good endings. The fall of Gandalf is your major skip ahead moment for sure. I'm so pumped for book 6 now. I cannot wait. Which Hobbit has to die for the sake of the story? No, I can't do that. I love all of them so much. Legitimately, it does kind of give those vibes a little bit. Like, Tolkien does do a good job of keeping you suspended for who's going to die. Like, much more than I actually thought he was going to do. I thought, like, every character was going to be safe because I know the movies, really well. And I was like, oh, like, all these characters are going to be fine. But Hama died. Like, my beloved Hama. There are a lot of characters who just, like, could potentially die in the next section. I cannot pick a least favorite Hobbit. That is such... It is... No. They're such great beings. Because I love them all for different reasons, too. Ted Sandyman, yeah, for sure. Oh, pick. I can't. This is one of the hardest decisions I've ever had to make in my life. Out of the 4 Hobbits, yeah, for sure it's the Sackville Bagginses. Can't stand them. I think Frodo is probably my favorite. I don't know. This is so difficult. Because I think Merry is probably... if I answer that question just off the cusp, I probably would have said Merry, but I re-looked at the Conspiracy Unmasked chapter, and he's probably... I think the most of the lines that I've written down that are some of my favorite lines are Merry lines. Merry is potentially one of my favorites. And he's like under the radar one of my favorites. I hate to say this. I can't say that. I can't say... Oh. I would say Frodo, Merry, Pippin, Sam. I have to cry when I say that. Oh, it's probably Sam. I don't know. 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 This is so impossible because they're like all like 99s and above. Bring wood and oil. And I will say if we didn't have the last chapter of Sam where the choices of Master Samwise, it probably would have been an easier decision, but it was like these 3 hobbits are super high on my list, and Sam was a little bit further down, maybe like a 95%. And the choices of Master Samwise chapter vaulted him so high. And so I don't know. You're chosen. Oh, this is brutal. This is brutal. Sam doesn't deserve this. I know, but I don't want to. I couldn't do any of these other characters either. Yeah, it's too early to start rating hobbits. I'll rate them at the end. Yeah, it's ranking 10s out of 10s. It's impossible to do that. I cannot rank 10 out of 10s. They're all 10 out of 10 characters. They all have like 99% overall. It's impossible to rank them. Rank the Gondorians. All of them that I know. Oh gosh, I cannot believe this chapter ending. This is a bit of a shocker. It's a bit like gutting for me. I don't know where to go from here. Well, I do. It's literally the next chapter and the 10 essays or the 11 essays that I have to write. Here's all my essay notes on what I need to write. Aquila, no, you're way too late. You gotta watch the VOD now. Too late is worse than ever for sure. Oh, gutting ending. I have a lot of essays that I gotta talk about, or a lot of essays that I gotta write, and things that I gotta talk about. Man, I'm just broken. Angbor is up there. Angbor's great. Tomorrow's video is about Angbor. A quick little note about Angbor because he's incredible. Man. Wow. The Tower of Kirith Ungol, it's a long chapter? Okay, wow. That's the next chapter. I can't even think about the other parts of this chapter now because I'm just so lost in what just happened to Rippin. No. You can't call him Rippin. That's so sad. Sauron's demands are crazy, but they're actually, and this is, Sauron, those aren't really his demands. I don't actually believe those are his demands. I think these are his initial demands, and then he'll just keep pressing further and further across. His demands were more tame than I actually thought. So he's essentially saying, give us the land from the Anduin to the east, and then also give us Orthanc. If they didn't have Frodo, I mean, obviously, I think Gandalf sees through that, and he's like, no, this is stupid because you're not going to uphold that, and you're going to end up gaining dominion of everything. Yeah, and give up your weapons. They're essentially going to be slaves for him. They can like rule their own kingdoms, but they can't fight against them. Man. He wants Gondor to become the UK. He takes up George R. R. Martin's tax policy. And I will agree with that because I think this whole thing is a lie. But if we're talking about just dividing land and he's saying you guys go over there and then we'll have this part of the land, you guys have that. If this is two rational people talking, you're like, oh, it's maybe not the worst thing, but we're dealing with Sauron here. So Sauron is not just going to stop there. He's going to wipe everyone out. But like if he wasn't lying through his teeth, or if he wasn't lying through the mouth of Sauron, he would, this wouldn't have been bad. He's like, okay, you guys can go. We'll give you Frodo, and you guys just go west of the Anduin, live there. Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know. Yeah, the Mouth of Sauron is such an interesting section of this book too. I have so much that I want to talk about with this. What a good chapter. Legitimately, I thought this chapter wasn't going to be that great. When I was coming to it, I was like, oh, this is just like, they're going to open the gate and the enemies are going to come forth and they're just going to be surrounded and that's how the chapter is going to end. I was not ready for how good this chapter was going to be. This is a top tier chapter. Jeff Burry, Jeff, welcome. I haven't seen your name pop up, so maybe you've been here for the whole time. Sauron would have insisted on humiliating the... Yeah, for sure. Agreed. Like, again, I think he's lying through his teeth. I don't think these are his actual demands. I think these are his initial demands, and it's just going to be continuing to go over and over and over what his actual demands are. This is the top tier chapter, is the center of the bingo card. That's what I say every single chapter. Man. So mustache of Sauron live between the mouth and the nose of Sauron. For sure. That's the Anduin right there. The mouth of Sauron lives to the west in Orthanc. The rest of his face lives east. And the mouth, or the Anduin, is his mustache. Yeah, the men that were sent to Caer Andros was such a cool section. That is one of the low-key great moments of Aragorn. Aragorn doesn't speak after that section. He doesn't give his men a speech. He doesn't speak to the mouth of Sauron. It's kind of wild how quiet he is in these. It's kind of fantastic. Like, he just has this epic staring contest, and the mouth of Sauron just caves. Like, when a man doesn't need words, you know that this guy is imposing. That is so cool. What if Aragorn is just really scared? I don't believe that. I mean, that'd be wild if that was actually the case. Potentially, maybe he's like so scared that he can't even speak anymore, but that's definitely not it. Come on. Man. No, Philip, don't say that. I can't believe it. I don't believe that. I refuse to believe that he's dead. I cannot accept that. I can't. And if he is, I need a full chapter on the funeral of Pippin. I would need to process that for weeks. Oh. We got some rain coming too. The rain is the grief right now that I feel. If Pippin were to die, it's all the tears that I will spend. Song contest. Yeah, the crossroads is cool. I like that they're cleaning that up as they're going too. That makes me happy. This is definitely not a children's story, but it is at the same time. Sure, all of you guys read this as a child. Okay, one thing that I want to know too. I was going to ask this before I totally lost track of all my thought, because Pippin potentially is dead, which is devastating and gutting. I don't know what to do. I feel lost. For those who read this before the movies came out, or before you saw the movies, what was going on in your mind? What did you think happened? What did you think was going on? Did you think that Frodo was taken but Sam was alive? Did you think that Sam was dead but Frodo was taken? Did you think both of them? Did you think neither of them? And how, like, what was going on in your mind? Because we don't know that they've been taken, that they took any of the armor, any of the sword, any of that. We don't know any of that kind of stuff. Does Sam leave his sword and pick up, he leaves his sword and picks up Sting. And he puts the mithril on. Does he put... Wait. Hold on. Sam switches swords. He doesn't put the mithril on. Which, it's important because Shelob stabs Frodo in the neck, right? Not the gut. Because Shelob's stab probably couldn't make it through that mithril. But I digress. You thought Frodo was dead, but don't really remember. The fact that only Sam lets Frodo's body was there. I assume Sam was roaming free. Sauron got to him. Dang. I know there's so much I don't know. Sam traded his sword for Sing. Did not put the Mithril coat on. Yeah. Book 6 is hardly even in the movie. That's true. Like literally, it's wild because all the stuff that happens after Frodo and Sam are and in that section, it's probably like 5 minutes of time. There's not a lot. So we have a lot of great stuff coming up. I'm pretty pumped. Is book what's the shortest book? Is book 6 the shortest? It looks a little shorter than book 5. Yeah, it didn't even stop to wonder. That's what most people probably did. They didn't even stop to wonder what was going on. For sure, just read it. Read right through. It is fun to think through this though, like reading this to your kids and like forcibly making them stop at each chapter. Like, let's read a bedtime story and let's like read a chapter at a time of Lord of the Rings. There's got to be some like parental sick joy that you can experience in that, of making your kids have a cliffhanger every night for what's going on. Just the funeral part. Come on, stop. Oh, it's brutal. It's child abuse. That's kind of true. Feels like it. Yeah, it's the same sick joy you guys are feeling right now. I don't know what to do. Oh, man. Your sister read it to you like that? That is so sweet. I love that. And I'm with you. I'm with you. The cliffhangers make stories like this really memorable, which is why I love like the idea of reading these stories chapter at a time to people. Like if you have kids or like, nieces and nephews, whatever it is, reading a chapter at a time and letting them sit in the misery is just so fun. That's what makes books really fun. I'm still convinced that like for those of you who are alive when this was getting released, that's what makes that fun. Like you're part of a cultural movement. Same thing with Harry Potter. Part of the fun of that book is that you were alive and you were reading it when the books weren't released yet. So everyone is coming up with side theories. Everyone had cliffhangers. You didn't know what happened. And that's like the joy in reading these books as community like this. I think it's just so fun to be able to like theorize with other people and like talk about this stuff, and no one has any of the answers. You're all just trying to figure it out for yourself. Honestly, that's a great idea, Attila. I should have just put timestamps on it. Some people do that whenever I finish a stream. They go like, the reading starts at so-and-so time and it ends at this time. But most people do the start time. Within a day, there's usually someone who comments about when the start time is. So maybe I just pin that comment or something. Oh, first 3 Harry Potter books to your daughters. I love that. And it's fun too if you read the first few and then you just let them age up and let them experience it themselves. But still, there's nothing that will replace my feeling of reading that book for the first time and not having the last 2 books that came out. So I powered through the first 5 and the last 2 hadn't gotten out yet. So you just sit and talk about it and theorize it. It's great. Oh yeah, I can put timestamps in the actual description. Duh. Thank you. Man, so good. So good. Oh my gosh. Also, for anyone who doesn't know, I'm doing some Harry Potter content on another channel. So you can subscribe to that. It's just a first timers Harry Potter. I'm going to just copy and paste this real quick in case anybody wants it. And then also I'm doing some Game of Thrones. If you want to do the Game of Thrones, that's Harry Potter. If you guys want to subscribe. Also, I'll do the Game of Thrones one if you guys want to subscribe to that. I'm not going to make promos for everything that I do, really. If you guys want, you can follow it or not. I did a reading of the first short story in pre-chat. Was kind of fun today. Gravel Nerd, thanks for joining. It's great to see you actually live in a chat too. I've been following your comments as you have been going through some of the live reads. Glad that you're doing it. Yeah, it's not my first time with Harry Potter. It's like my 50th. So I'm like doing more in depth. I'm going slower through Harry Potter. And then also subscribe. 1 second. One of my favorite channels right now. Boom, right here. Everyone subscribe to this channel. It is a phenomenal channel. I love that the Tolkien Rants comments literally right after my channel. I should call it Long Timers for Harry Potter. Honestly, that's better. I am going to do a Song of Ice and Fire, but I'm going to read it the Hedge Knight first, or the other one first, and then go for that. So everyone go subscribe to those channels if you didn't. I don't like Denethor. I think Denethor is crap. But man, wow, what a just phenomenal chapter that was. I say that for every chapter that I finish, but dang, that really was a good one. That really got me. Oh, what a good freaking chapter. Hold on, I gotta just jump back to the stream because I exited out to get all this other stuff. I know, Sean Bean, rest in peace, Sean. For everything, he dies on everything. Yeah, Gibby is great. Everyone, yeah, go subscribe to Factor Fantasy too. He does great stuff. I don't think he's in the chat anymore. If he is, maybe he's just hiding. But everyone go check out Gibby's channel. It's just Factor Fantasy. There's a bunch of people who have like random channels on here. I hear someone said in our Discord, I think it was the Red Book. No, someone said, which was the one that they said? Maybe it was the Red Book. They said they said that was their favorite, bar none. That was the best best YouTube channel for maybe it was In Deep Geek. Yeah, I think it was In Deep Geek. Maybe it was. Let me look this up on the Discord because someone just literally said that a few days ago. I know it made me curious about watching some of their videos. I gotta find which channel it was on. Also, if you want to join the Discord, I am just sending you guys links, so sorry. Invite to channel, copy. Here's the Discord link if anybody wants to join Discord. Books, memes. Oh, sorry. I was just playing on my computer for a second. I'm trying to find out who said what about that. About that channel. I'm just getting distracted right now. Watch list. Best Tolkien channel. Someone said the Red Book. Best Tolkien channel on YouTube, bar none. So I'm curious. There's a lot of good channels. I'm excited to just watch some of the content some of these bigger channels are doing. When I get there. I know I'm curious too. I would love to like talk to some of these people. Like when I finish Lord of the Rings, I would love to like reach out and see if I can get like interviews with some of them and just like talk about like their favorite parts of Lord of the Rings and all that kind of stuff. I think Gibby is one of the only ones that really follows the channel or like knows what I'm doing. I don't know if any of the others really know what I'm doing. I'm sure they're just too busy in their own YouTube worlds. But it'd be fun to like talk to some of them about this. But we'll get there eventually. All right, guys. It was super fun. I'm at a loss. I don't know what to do. Oh, there's a good Tolkien channel in Spanish. I love that. I've heard excuse me. I've heard there's some channels that people really love and there's some that are like, okay. So, ripping. No. I know. I don't think that's going to be answered. Oh, the other channel, Lonely Reader is the one that's reading it for the first time. But she does a lot of like D&D stuff. I don't think she's come out with another video for Lord of the Ring for her Lord of the Rings read in a while. Let me check my subscriptions. Yeah, she hasn't come out with one for a week. But she's talking about Critical Role in some of her videos. So she does half Critical Role and half Lord of the Rings. But she's got some good she's interesting. But she's talking, she's read the Silmarillion, so I can't really watch any of her stuff. So I'll watch it until like she mentions anything about the Silmarillion, and then I'll just exit out. So I'm really like not really watching that much Tolkien stuff. But she's got some good stuff too. So go subscribe. But I'm gonna head out. I gotta really use the bathroom. So I'm gonna go pee. TMI, sorry. Guys, have a great night. Thanks for joining me on the read. I don't know if Pippin's alive or dead. I'm so scared. I'm so terrified. Thanks for hanging out and watching with me, or watching me read this and be in anguish. I'll see you guys. I'll see you guys in the next one. By the way, next stream we're gonna do is gonna be a trivia night or a trivia day, a trivia stream. I don't know when that's gonna be. I'll let you guys know like on the Discord like a week in advance. So we're gonna do a trivia, and then I probably have like more than a week's worth of essays coming. So maybe next weekend will be a trivia one, and then we'll start the book 6 the following week. Sometime. I don't know. Well, I'll figure all that out. I don't know my schedule, so I'll look at that. But I will see you guys in the next one. If Pippin is dead, I will die. Later, everyone. As always, goodbye.